36 cars, one empty seat that should never have been empty, and a championship picture that's about to get violent. This Sunday at the Magic Mile, NASCAR isn't just racing for a trophy. They're racing against the clock before the chase locks the door. And the man who used to own this sport is watching from a seat he'll never sit in again. Here's the breakdown. The Dollar Tree 301 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway drops this Sunday, the 25th race of the 2026 Cup Series season, and the next to last shot drivers get before the chase field is set in stone. All 36 chartered teams are entered. No open cars, no wild cards fighting for a spot. This is the full grid, locked and loaded. The name that jumps off the page, Austin Hill, now behind the wheel of the number 33 for Richard Childress Racing, stepping into a ride that opened up under the worst possible circumstances following Kyle Busch's passing earlier this year. Ryan Blaney comes in as the defending winner. Christopher Bell, Denny, Hamlin, and Joey Logano round out the betting favorites. And this track, 3/4 of a mile shorter than most on the circuit, a tight, flat, unforgiving bullring, has a habit of humbling favorites and launching underdogs into the spotlight. Let's zoom out for a second because this race means more than a single Sunday result. New Hampshire is the third straight short track on the schedule after Iowa and Richmond, a brutal stretch that rewards precision and punishes mistakes. There's nowhere to hide on a mile oval. One bad restart, one loose lug nut, and a championship contender season can unravel in real time. And then there's the emotional layer nobody can ignore, the now. 33 car isn't just a business decision for Richard Childress Racing. It's a franchise carrying grief into the garage every single week. Austin Hill wasn't just handed a ride. He was handed a legacy mid-season under circumstances that would rattle any driver. How he performs under that pressure says as much about his mental toughness as it does about his talent behind the wheel. Meanwhile, the frontrunners are jockeying for playoff seating. Joey Logano just took Richmond his second win of the year and second in his last 4 starts. That's not a hot streak. That's a driver peaking at exactly the right moment right before the postseason format rewards consistency above everything else. Now here's where it gets interesting because the numbers tell a story that goes deeper than who's supposed to win. Blaney sits as the favorite at plus 450, and on paper, that tracks he dominated more than a third of the laps here a year ago. But dig into his history at this track in the next-gen era, and you'll find that dominant run was the outlier, not the pattern. Everything else on his New Hampshire resume outside that one race is finishes of 18th or worse. That's not a repeat champion's profile. That's a driver who caught lightning once and is now being priced like he can do it on command. Compare that to Christopher Bell, sitting right behind him at plus 550. Bell isn't the one-hit wonder here. He's got 2 wins at this exact track, plus a top 6 finish last year. That's sustained short track mastery, not a fluke. If I'm building a case for value, Bell is the sharper play than the market suggests. Then there's Logano. Momentum is a real measurable thing in racing, and right now he has more of it than anyone in the field. 6 top 5 finishes in his last 7 starts at this track, paired with a win last week. The strategic risk for his competitors isn't just beating Logano on Sunday, it's stopping a driver who's building exactly the kind of late-season form that wins championships in November. And don't sleep on Kyle Larson. Never won at Loudon, but he's been suspiciously consistent. Top 7 in 3 straight visits, 3 career runner-up finishes. Larson at plus 900 isn't a long shot. He's a coiled spring that hasn't gone off yet, and one of these Sundays, it will. The strategic question every crew chief is wrestling with this week: do you race for stage points and safe track position on a short track where one mistake can end your day? Or do you gamble on track position early and risk a caution wiping out your entire strategy? At New Hampshire, that's not a hypothetical, it's the whole race. Fans are split right down the middle on this one. One side is locked in on the emotional storyline. Everyone wants to see Austin Hill run well in that number 33, not out of sympathy, but because a strong finish would mean something bigger than a stat sheet. It would mean the car and everything it represents is still fighting. The other side is pure cold-blooded betting talk. But tours are already circling Josh Berry as the sleeper after he nearly stole this exact race a year ago, finishing runner-up after leading 6 laps. Analysts are pointing at his track history, a podium in 2024, a near win last year, and asking why he's sitting at plus 1,600 like an afterthought. Expect the media narrative this week to split the same way. Heartfelt features on Hill and RCR on one channel, hardcore betting breakdowns on Berry and Centric on the next. Let's talk about where this goes. best case scenario, Logano's momentum carries straight through New Hampshire into a win, and he rolls into the chase as the hottest driver in the sport, the kind of form that turns a good playoff run into a title run. On the emotional side, Austin Hill finds speed early, stays out of trouble on a track that punishes aggression, and delivers a top 15 run that gives RCR something real to build on. Worst case scenario, New Hampshire's short track chaos does what it always does. A mid-race caution budges the field, a contender gets collected in someone else's mistake. And a driver who needed stage points to lock in playoff position leads Loudon in a worse spot than they started. And for Hill, the pressure of the moment turns into an early mistake that sets the number red. 33 back before it ever gets going. Short tracks don't forgive. That's exactly why this race matters so much more than its spot on the calendar suggests. So here's the question I want answered in the comments. Is Ryan Blaney really the man to beat at New Hampshire, or is the market overvaluing one great day from a year ago? Drop your pick below, favorite, or one of these long shots ready to make a statement. I read every single comment, and I want to see who you're riding with this Sunday. If breakdowns like this are your thing, make sure you're subscribed, because playoff seeding is about to get chaotic, and you don't want to miss a single race of it. SportsWire USA. We'll see you at the checkered flag.